Welcome back to another episode of the Cover 4 podcast brought to you by WUTK's Rock Solid Sports, where we've got you covered on all things NFL with Bryson Wright, Jack Foster, Riley Haltom. I'm Joseph Bonanno, and we are officially halfway through the 2022 NFL season as Week 9 completes, and I'm still not sure what's going on in this year. I really not sure what I feel the NFL is right now.
It was so surprising the first couple of weeks, and you're like, what's going on? You know, everything will revert back to normal. Now we're in that stage of we're starting to accept what the changes have been this season and the surprises as normal. So we're, you know, as the weeks move on, we'll start to just accept that the Packers are one of the worst teams in the league and that Tom Brady is washed and that Matthew Stafford and the Rams are far from playoff caliber teams. So,
and that Geno Smith's an MVP candidate.
Yes, we will start to accept these things, and it'll get easier as we move along.
And the fact that the Jets are like
and
good enough to beat the Bills.
The teams in New York,
despite having the worst quarterback in the league.
It's very confusing. 2022 is not sure what's going on, but let's just jump right into it. And Week 9, the halfway mark of the 2022 season. A lot of teams on bye this week. I think there were 6 teams on bye. The Steelers, the Niners, the Browns. It was a fantasy killer. It was by Mageddon is what it was. I don't know about you guys, but it killed my fantasy. I don't think I scored more than 90 points in either one of my fantasy leagues.
Oh yeah, there's some of the guys that I saw people picking up in their fantasy leagues were ridiculous.
It was bad.
I don't know if it's Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm not quite sure what that month is, but if we can make it Mental Health Awareness Hour in this room we're in right now, and let's just not talk about fantasy football, that would be amazing.
Yeah, Jack and I are suffering together.
I got a dub this week. My second one of the season.
Because he played me when I had 6 people on bye.
My second dub of the season.
6 people on bye.
No way you only have 2 wins, right?
Yes, I have the worst team in the league, easily.
How can one of the people that's actually on the NFL podcast have the worst record in the league?
Javonte Williams.
Okay.
Michael Thomas.
Riley doesn't know how to draft.
Javonte Williams, Michael Thomas.
All I had to do in my big money league was have Lamar Jackson basically outscore
Kyle
Kenyon
Pitts.
Drake, and you saw it.
Kyle Pitts is tough.
All right, let's jump into Week 9. Like I said, a lot of teams on bye, so not that many games, but what are your guys' games of the week for the NFL Week 9? Bryson, we'll start with you over there.
Oh, my gosh. It's so easy. It's the Dolphins and the Bears.
Great pick.
Like, it was not only was it the best game, well, because it came down to the wire down at the end of the game. The Bears couldn't score at the end, I guess, because it was 35-32 like most of the fourth quarter. But the first 3 quarters were just like packed with action. It felt like people were scoring on every drive. Justin Fields was running around. Like, you know, when you are on Madden when you're a little kid and you max out your quarterback to 99 so you can run in circles and score a touchdown every time.
Yeah.
That's literally what Justin Fields was doing. Like that play where he takes it, he fakes a sidearm throw and then runs for like a 60-yard touchdown. I was like, dude, that was so ridiculous.
How about Mike McDaniel telling him to stop scrambling on the sideline?
That was funny, dude.
He's like, stop it.
And then in the post game, they asked him, they're like, hey, what'd you say to Justin Fields? And he goes, well, he was scrambling all over us, and I just asked him to stop. And unfortunately, he didn't listen.
Not very nice of him.
Yeah, broke the record most yards by a quarterback ever, 178. 15 carries for 178 yards.
Michael Vick's record, right?
Yep, he broke Michael Vick's record for single game rushing.
That's good company when you're a mobile quarterback. So Justin Fields. And listen, the Bears were constantly coming. Like the Dolphins always had the lead, but the Bears were constantly fighting back. I mean,
well, yeah, and that's the other thing is I know I just started talking about Justin Fields. They ended up losing the game. Tyreek Hill, 7 receptions, 143 and a touchdown.
Tua had over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in that game.
It was both teams were just like the offenses were playing at such a high level. I think that's why it was just so fun to watch.
I mean, we've seen the Dolphins excel on the offensive side of the ball this year. I was actually the way the Bears were playing and how great Fields was, that you could just tell the heart was, there from Chicago. I was like, if Tua throws 1 pick, if they mess up just once, the Bears are going to get them. The Dolphins played clean, so props to them for getting a tough win.
Yeah. Jack, what's your game of the week for Week 9?
Hey, I'm going to go with the only game that went to overtime. We got free football on a late Sunday night. Chiefs and Titans. I know it's unfortunate for you guys. The Titans lost, blowing that 8-point lead in the fourth quarter. You can make excuses however you want, but it came down to Titans just couldn't put together a scoring drive on offense at the end, and they
Mhm.
just needed one. All they needed was a field goal in that fourth quarter. And if they could just put together a drive, they would be able to win that game on the road, but they couldn't do it. Patrick Mahomes using his legs, putting the team on his back at the end to tie the game up, and then, of course, winning it in overtime. Smart decision to kick the field goal by Andy Reid rather than going for it on fourth down again, because the Titans offense was just, not playing well down the stretch. So a great game. I think this is two of the top 4 teams in the AFC, and we could see this matchup again in the playoffs.
I'm going to say one thing about this game. Actually, I'll say a couple of things about this game. One, Travis Kelce's a baby.
The helmet throw, I'm not about that.
He
threw 2 helmets
He
that
threw it
game.
twice.
I know
one was his, one
I'm
was
talking about when he wasn't even
Josh
close
Galoo.
to the bench and he just slings his own helmet. That was
Yeah, and why is that not a penalty? Didn't we just learn that's a
Should-
yeah,
penalty?
it was a penalty.
Yeah.
Look, if
But-
I'm DJ Moore, I'm what the hell? Like what
Yeah,
what
right.
the hell, man? Like I was
Is it-
celebrating. He was just pissed that he sucked. Like
yeah, I guess because you're not rubbing anything in anybody's face, so no one's feelings got hurt that Kelsey took his little helmet off and threw
it's
it.
still a flag.
But it should be a flag.
It's
100%.
still a flag.
And the holding call is just
Ooh.
Yeah, that whole
Yeah.
call was crazy.
I don't understand how a man can rip another man's helmet off and then the guy whose helmet comes off is the one that gets penalized. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make sense. And look, it was before 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. Contact is allowed, and I get it's the
Well,
goal
this
line.
and Kelsey was like already. It's like
Manhandling
as
him?
soon as he stepped off the line of scrimmage, he was just it was just
It was colluded like a little press thing, and Kelsey just
held him the whole time.
grabbed the helmet.
That's why
and
Kalu.
ripped it
That's
off.
you see the video. Kalu's hands get behind Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
What else is he supposed to do when he head's getting?
Yeah,
ripped
I didn't like
upwards?
that play. And of course, the play before, had been offsetting penalties. So, it's just,
It was
that was a messy whole 2-point conversion thing.
Yeah, and then
I'm not going to try and make it the refs were the reason the Chiefs won.
Well,
I'm not doing that.
the refs didn't help the Titans.
No, they
but
didn't, but
the
they're not the
Titans
reason.
also didn't help the Titans. Derrick Henry only getting 8 carries in the second half, which is
Well,
god awful.
yes, but I think one of the reasons why he ended up getting so few carries is because they couldn't go anywhere. Like it eventually got to the point to where they literally couldn't go anywhere.
Well, no, the game plan was this. They come out, they get the ball in the second half. They're up what, 17-9 at that point. They're up 8
Yes.
points. They go out in the second half. They give Derrick Henry the ball on first down. They get a flag. They go down to 1st and 20. I think it was like a holding call. They go to 1st and 20. And all of a sudden, you're like, okay, it's 1st and 20. Derrick Henry, who's getting 10 yards of carry, is not going to get anything on 1st and 20. Let's take him out of the game for the next 3 snaps. Then you go 1, 2, 3. You don't get any yards. You punt. They did that literally every offensive drive in the second half. Derrick Henry would come in, something would go wrong on first down, and they'd be like, oh, Derrick Henry can't run on 1st or 2nd and long. He's getting 10 yards of carry, Todd Downing. Mike Vrabel, do something, take charge, put him in the freaking game.
Oh,
excuse my language there.
whoa.
Put him in the game because Derrick Henry is your offense right now. I love Malik Willis. I love Malik Willis in that game. I loved how he played. I think he was so much better than he was, but he still showed that he's a rookie and that he's only had 2 weeks of preparation for a first-team NFL defense.
That's true.
You cannot rely on him when you have Derrick Henry in your backfield with a lead in the second half. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, their offensive drives in the second half were over before you could even blink, like you're saying. I think
Definitely.
you broke it down really well. Now, the Chiefs defense did do well on the perimeters, better than they did in the first half. They tightened up a little bit, but you got to be prepared for them to tighten up a little bit and get creative with how you use Derrick Henry.
Well,
Maybe
get
even
him some
use him in the
screens.
passing game a little.
Get him some
Like,
screens.
Yes,
Something. Yeah.
that's what I was. Yes, the halfback screen to
Use
Derrick
your-
Henry should have been a must in the second half when the running game started to go down a little bit efficiency wise. And of course, Titans receiving core is the worst in the NFL.
Hey,
That's-
but they're
that's why
great
the running game-
blockers. They're great
no,
blockers.
that's why the running game was so bad because the Titans, I saw a stat today. The Titans receivers, their average yards of separation was the worst this season and like the 4th worst in the last 5 years.
That's awful.
But
I
leave
mean,
It was
Not
like
a
1.8
single catch.
average. It was like 1.8 average yards of separation.
Hey,
not a
but
single catch.
as Nick Westbrook-Akina said on Monday, they just got to start making plays like they were at the beginning of the season. Because, Nick Westbrook-Akina somehow thinks the Titans receivers were making plays at the beginning of the season. No,
And you know,
buddy.
no. You
They
know
ain't been
who
making
was?
plays the whole
You
season.
know who was making plays at the beginning of the season? Rookie Traylon Burks, who's been out the
Right,
past
with the toe.
4 weeks with the toe.
That's
hurt.
true.
So the Titans, you have 0 offense. Listen, when Ryan Tannehill comes back, I'm not sure what he's going to do to be better than Malik because Malik, when he says post game, what were you thinking back there when you're getting chased? I was just hoping somebody would get open because I can't do this anymore. Ryan Tannehill is going to feel the exact same thing because guess what? The change at quarterback does not change the wide receivers. It doesn't.
Or the offensive line.
And maybe Ryan Tannehill doesn't take a couple of those sacks in overtime. And maybe he's a little smarter with the ball just because of experience, but it doesn't matter when your wide receivers aren't helping you. So Titans, you screwed up. John Robinson, this is all your fault. It is. Riley, what's your game of the week for week 9?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Bills Jets. Jets taking the close one over the Bills, who up to that point had been they were undefeated going into that, right? No, they had one loss.
No, they had one loss.
This was their second loss.
To the Miami Dolphins.
Right, to the
Another
Dolphins.
division loss.
But oh yeah, that's kind of crazy. AFC East getting close. But yeah, Bills. Josh Allen, 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown on the ground.
And they said he has an elbow injury now too.
Yeah, so
he might not play this week.
on one of the throws, they said it wasn't that serious, but on one of the throws, he was going to throw it, and a defensive lineman hit his arm as he was throwing it, so his elbow went forward and his arm went back, and it was an awkward play. But post game, I found Josh Allen's comments pretty interesting. He goes, "Well, it's hard to win when your quarterback plays like shit."
I respect it. You're owning it. I mean, the very first drive, I believe he threw an interception that was god awful. He wasn't.
Both of his interceptions were terrible.
I really feel like the elbow affected him. I really do.
They were both.
I think it's a little more serious
than
maybe we realized.
Sauce Gardner interception, Jordan Whitehead interception.
Jets defense is awesome.
Love Sauce Gardner. I think he's going to be a stud in this league for a long time. And Quinnen Williams on the line. He's been super dominant. So yeah, Bills deserve their Jets deserve their flowers for what they did.
Yeah, and they're doing this despite having a poor play at quarterback. Like Zach Wilson didn't do anything to lose them that game, but he didn't really do anything to help them either. That defense was really the winning key there against the Bills. So credit to the Jets for winning. Credit to Robert Salah for doing good. Coach of the Year candidate there. Jets are over winning record. First time since 2010? Is that what it is?
Yeah, so
since the Mark Sanchez days.
They had
right?
1 year with Fitzmagic that was good. They went 10-6 and barely missed the playoffs. But other than that, it's been
that's
complete
right.
poverty for a decade and change. So
yeah. All right. Well, my game of the week for week 9 was the Jags versus the Raiders. When I first looked at this game, I didn't watch it. I had Red Zone on. And the first time they cut to it, it's like the Raiders, Devontae Adams torching Jacksonville. They go up 20-3 or something like that.
17-0.
Or 17-0. That's what it was. And then all of a sudden, I look in the second half in Jacksonville, and Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk working their way back in, just slowly. And then the Raiders offense just disappears. They just go away. It's kind of like what the Titans have done this year. They just went away from everything that was working, and Jacksonville slowly working back, and they finally come back. They take the lead and they hold on to it, and Jacksonville gets a really big win.
Yes, a must win. They could not fall 2-7 and lose another close game. I was very impressed by Jacksonville's offense. We know the Raiders' defense is bad. Jacksonville's offense was executing on all cylinders in that second half. Trevor Lawrence was great in the passing game, but the offense is revolving around Travis Etienne. He is their best player on the offensive side of the ball. 28 carries, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns. Can get going in the passing game a little bit, but man, he is running hard. He is elusive as hell, and he's one of the most exciting players in the NFL.
Is he the second best running back in the AFC South? I know we've talked about this. Obviously, Derrick Henry's one.
Okay, well,
this season he probably has been because Jonathan Taylor's been hurt and hasn't been great even when he's played.
What about Damian
Well,
Pierce?
yeah.
Right now? No, I'm talking about right
that's a
now.
good question.
I love the way Damian Pierce runs, but I'm going to go to Etienne right now because I feel like he's
having a more
significant impact on his team.
Yeah.
And he's playing Pierce is just a big guy who can bulldoze you. Etienne is just leaving it all out on the field. It seems.
And he's big. Like you said,
I don't think that's just true about Pierce. I mean, his balance is insane. His balance is like Nick Chubb level.
He does have really strong balance.
Like he's getting hit in the legs and he's staying and he's breaking tackles and tackles. Like Damian Pierce is a stud.
Yeah. Listen, the AFC South. Look,
loaded with running back talent. Yeah. Even though the division's bad, loaded with running back.
This entire year has been just the year of the running backs. I mean, Nick Chubb's balling, Saquon's balling, Derrick Henry's balling. You got rookies, Damian Pierce, Breece Hall was balling before he went hurt. Kenneth Walker's balling.
For sure. Oh, and remember, I told y'all 2 weeks ago Derrick Henry was going to be back number
That's right.
one in rushing.
That's right. He is
And
back
now
number
he's
one.
back number one in rushing again.
It helps that he rushed for 200 against the Texans and that Nick Chubb was on a bye this week. But Derrick Henry also had a bye, so now they're even.
Hey,
Yeah.
one last very quick thing about this game. I don't know if you guys watched saw the Derek Carr press conference quotes after the game. Not calling out specifically Josh McDaniels, but he was saying the play calling got soft in the second half. I'm not going to say what I want to say here, but I'm going to say it in the locker room after this. So Raiders, it's getting a little sticky. With McDaniels and Adams and Carr, they're not too happy.
Is McDaniels a chance at a one and done for head coach?
It's possible if
he
they
could
win
be.
like 5 games and if you look at McDaniels' track record, since he took over the Broncos, whatever year that was, it was kind of like right before I started watching football, I want to say, before John Fox. He's 7-23 as a head coach.
Not good.
Not good, Bob.
Yeah,
not
not
good,
very
Bob.
good.
All right, we're going to move on. Week 9. Some other scores that happen around the league. Eagles win on Thursday Night Football 29-17. That was pretty much expected. Chargers squeak out a close one over the Falcons with a sort of a comeback win. They were down 10-0 there to start out.
Josh Palmer with a huge catch on third down instead of the field goal.
We talked about Dolphins taking down the Bears. Bengals obliterated the Panthers. The Lions upset the Packers, won it 15-9. Aaron Rodgers with 2 goal line interceptions. Patriots stomp on the Colts 26-3. Vikings sneak past the Commanders 2017. Seahawks eased by the Cardinals 31-21. And somehow they won that game by 10 with Geno Smith throwing a pick 6. Bucks take down the Rams 16-13, and the Ravens on Monday Night Football win 27-13 over the Saints. So a lot of good action, a lot of good wins. Actually, quite a few good games here in Week 9.
Yeah, I feel like if we're gonna highlight one additional game at all from this past week, it would be the Bucks and the Rams. Not for great reasons. Both teams played horrifically bad.
Really, really bad.
But the Buccaneers, like the Rams, are just that bad. The fact that they lost that game shows how bad the Rams are, because the Bucks are awful. But they had one drive at the end to where they could win the game. I mean, God, if you're the Rams, I'm a loss of words of how horrible they have been this year after winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, really, really bad. And with that, I move on. What are y'all's dogs of the week? Which players stood out to you? Bryson, we'll start with you.
Well, I already talked about it, but it has to be Justin Fields.
Good pick. Great pick.
Because, I mean, he broke a rushing record. Whenever you break a quarterback record that is held by Mike Vick running the ball, you have to win dog of the week for me. So I'm picking him, even though they lost. I think he's really proved, like, these last couple weeks. I feel like there's a lot of questions about Justin Fields coming into this season. And I think he's proven that if you can get an offense around him, he could be very good in this league.
Yeah, I mean, and we talk about that quarterback class, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, those guys. Justin Fields was not looking good.
No,
not at all. He is significantly improved, and you know why? Darnell Mooney started playing well. They got a run game in David Montgomery and
Khalil Herbert.
I think the
Herbert.
play calling just got better around him.
They got a better coach. I mean, you get Chase Claypool. You get Cole Kmet at tight end, who balled 2 touchdowns on Sunday.
Yeah. I think the key with Fields is you have to understand that as the traditional quarterback prototype, he's not that, and he's not going to be good at it because he's not very accurate and he can't stay in the pocket. But if you get him in space, if you let him make throws on the run and scramble, as we saw, and run for over 150 yards, he can win you games.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like the Bears are realizing and recognizing and playing to his strengths, which is going to, pay dividends for them in the future.
If they just add some pieces on that defense, get that defense to what a Bears defense looks like.
They need a running defense.
That they could really help Justin Fields there. But Jack, who's your dog of the week for Week 9?
Yeah, I talked about him a little bit. I'm sporting a TL16 jersey today, but I really wish it was a 1 for today because Travis Etienne Jr. is my dog of the week. To me, he is the reason the Jags won this game. Like I said, over 100 yards rushing on 28 carries. A guy with that, he's such a small NFL running back, but he can take on this work and he can excel at it. 28 carries, 109 yards, 2 touchdowns, playing magnificent in the red zone, putting his team on his back, getting key first downs down the stretch to ice that game away. Very impressed by Etienne in such a short amount of time as he missed all of his rookie year. He's basically a rookie in the NFL. If he would join Walker and Pierce as those rookie running backs who have had tremendous years. So very impressed by Etienne, and he is my dog of the week. Could have been it last week, but this week I'm giving the crown to him.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that. I really like what Travis Etienne is doing. Obviously, the Jaguars like what he's doing enough to trade away James Robinson,
Yeah.
who's a very good running back too.
Trade is
So-
looking good, better and better.
Oh yeah, no. So I mean, I feel like Travis Etienne has responded very well to that. To
Absolutely.
being you are the guy, you are the running back. There's really nobody else.
and he's making Trevor Lawrence better too.
it was
Yes.
it was a really weird pick at the time because James Robinson
It
obviously was balling. And Trevor Lawrence really needed some protection. And you go and get a running back in the first round, and you're really confused. Then he gets hurt. It's looking like a good pick. It's looking like a good pick. Now, when you spend a first round pick on a running back, that's longevity. You need longevity out of him. You can't just have one good year.
Right.
You got to have longevity and
Correct.
consistency.
Yeah, we'll see if he
So
can
we'll see, but
hold up.
but right now it's looking good. Riley, dog of the week for this week.
Yeah, I had something pre-show. I'm switching off of it, pivoting. I think I'm gonna go with Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts. I mean, he's at this point, it's just become a consistent thing that he's gonna go out there and put up good numbers. 243 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and he had 23 yards on the ground as well. So,
Look decent. Look decent enough. I mean, good enough to win the against the Texans.
Yeah.
Not-
Yeah, special story for him Thursday night too. All his family's there, his
Oh, yeah.
hometown. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
nice to see that happen.
So-
Just picture consistency. That's part of the reason Eagles are on this
And
crazy tear right
being
now.
8-0, that also helps. All right, my dog of the week. Pretty low hanging fruit here. It's Mr. Joe Mixon for the Cincinnati Bengals. 22 carries, 153 yards, 4 touchdowns, 4 receptions, 58 yards of touchdowns, 5 touchdown day, over 200 all-purpose yards for Mr. Joe Mixon. Absolutely lit up the Carolina Panthers. I think it's like the best stat line in like the past decade.
Yeah, 5 touchdowns is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean Kamara had the 6.
The 6.
Night, but this is a more complete performance.
Yeah, I mean it was incredible. And they just called his number.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do much. I mean, Joe Burrow only had 206 yards. 53 of those went to Joe Mixon. I mean, they didn't need to do anything else because Joe Mixon just took over. And they absolutely blew out the Panthers 42-21.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that close. It was not.
35-0 at half.
Yeah. So
Did you guys see the receiving touchdown for Mixon?
no,
Yes, I
was
saw it. It
great.
was nice.
He
It was like in the
actually,
back of the end zone.
Yeah, went up
Yeah.
and got it. It was like a receiver.
listen,
touchdown.
this year, like I said, been the year of the running backs. Joe Mixon, just another Hall of Famer week for him in this year of the running backs. When I say Hall of Famer week, I mean just crazy stat line. Like
Gotcha.
you had Derrick Henry's 200-yard game.
Nah,
Yeah,
this
no,
is
that's
Joe
that's like
Mixon,
a
5
the
touchdown
ball is
game.
going to be in the Hall of Fame. Like the ball from that day might be in there.
That too. I mean, crazy. And to end out our week 9 talk, biggest surprises or disappointments of the week. What do you guys got?
For me, I'm gonna do a surprise, and I'll take the New York Jets, which this is
Great
also not just for this week beating the Bills, but also just for how good they've been so far this season. I think I'd say they're the biggest surprise of the season as a whole right now, just the way that they've played, especially the way that defense has played. So yeah, I'm gonna pick the Jets. I almost picked them to beat the Bills last week, but I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I was
Yeah,
close
I don't
to,
blame you.
but I just couldn't do it. I was like, I saw maybe they could do it, but I think that's one of those wins where you're like, that is now a legit team.
So the
Yeah.
Jets are what? They're 5-3 right now.
6-3.
They're 6-3 now. This is their next 2 games. They have the Patriots, who have been They have the Bears, who are on the up and coming, at least, and how close their games have been. Then they play the Vikings and the Bills,
Both on the road.
both on the road.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard for
Tough.
the Jets. But then they end the season out with the Lions, the Jags at home. But then they go to Seattle, which is a really hard place to play, and they go to Miami, a team that's playing really well. So I'm not sure what the
There's
Jets.
a path to 10-7, and I feel like 10-7.
10-7 gets you in this year
postseason.
because
I'm
of
not-
how volatile stuff
I'm not
has been.
sure
I think.
exactly what the Jets will do, but I mean they're poised to win some games. They just got to continue playing. Zach Wilson's got to get better though. I think if you want to take down the Bills at the Bills, if you want to take down the Vikings who are playing really well, even the Seahawks, if you're going to go into Seattle with that 12th man, you got to play well. But yeah, Jets, really big surprise in this season. Jack, who's your surprise or disappointment?
Yeah, I'm always the optimist, but I cannot neglect how bad the Packers are. Unreal.
Yes.
How is this happening? They are 3-6. after LaFleur and Rodgers have gone at winning 13 games in each of the prior 3 seasons. Now the best they can do is 11-6 on the season. The Packers are awful. There's no way this is a playoff team. How do you put up 9 points against the dreadful, dreadful Lions defense that we've seen everyone torch this year with both the passing game and the running game? This is horrible. They lost Romeo Doubs and Aaron Jones to injuries. They lost Rashawn Gary on defense to a season-ending injury. Eric Stokes, their young cornerback, was carted off. So they are beat up, and I don't see anything improving in Green Bay at all. I don't know how I'm going to pick them in any game whatsoever moving forward.
I don't think I am going
5
to.
straight.
And listen,
this is one of the worst teams in the NFL.
And listen, it's easy to say, oh, but Aaron Rodgers doesn't have any help. He has no wide receivers. Dude, they went out and tried to get wide receivers at that trade deadline. Every team they asked.
Oh, it came out they offered a first rounder for DJ Moore.
Yeah, and for Darren Waller. They went after Darren Waller. I don't know if it was a first rounder, but they offered a high draft pick for Darren Waller.
They also offered a second round pick to
Claypool right?
For Claypool.
And the Bears got him for the same.
You know why?
Their pick's gonna be better.
You know why? Because they said the Bears pick's going to be better.
It's actually yeah.
And
but
now it
might
doesn't.
not be.
Now it's probably not going to be.
And last thing for me for this disappointment here, everyone, it feels like this season has been, and even Rodgers has put the blame off to other people. But this game in particular, this 6-point loss in Motown is on him.
Oh, he's thrown 2 goal line interceptions
in the end zone, and the third he threw was in the red zone. So that could have been 21 points if he doesn't make mistakes. And all 3 picks were terrible.
Have you noticed this year how low Rodgers has been? I mean, you know how many times he's hit an offensive or defensive lineman in the helmet
he's
and it's
underthrowing everything.
It's crazy.
No, so you don't know what's really crazy?
Drugs
is that like no something I don't know what
thumb
it is.
is messed up.
All I know is that right now I would take Geno Smith over Aaron Rodgers.
How they're playing,
I would take Geno over Brady, Rodgers, Stafford, all these veterans.
Yeah, for sure. Right,
based on this season.
Yeah,
and it's just like if you would have said that before week 1, somebody would have said you were an idiot.
Dude, I remember on
what are you doing?
I remember on Rock Solid specifically, we were arguing who was worse, starting quarterback, Brissett or Daniel Jones for like the worst quarterback, and I was like, wait, let's back up. Geno Smith in Seattle, that's the worst starting quarterback in the league, and we were like, oh yeah. Then we moved on quickly. Like, hey, give me a list of quarterbacks 30 and older in the league right now. Geno might be like number 2 or 3.
Hey, they wrote him off, but Geno didn't write back.
Still ain't right back.
He still ain't writing back.
Still not.
Riley,
I want to frame that quote and put it in my room.
Biggest surprise, disappointment of the week.
Yeah, disappointment. Look, the bar was low for the Titans receiving core. The bar was on the floor. But no catches.
0 catches.
0.
And the thing is, it's not that Malik Willis was just missing them, wasn't getting them the ball.
Not at all.
Chris Conley dropped an absolute dime. Nick Westbrook-Akina dropped an absolute dime. Cody Hollister was down blocking on a play where Malik Willis was looking his way. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, what are you doing?
On? Oh my gosh,
it's really bad.
Yeah,
dude.
Shout out Chig for getting that one and breaking
how
it
is
up.
Cody Hollister in the NFL?
I don't know. There are a lot.
I don't know,
hey,
man.
The back shoulder throw and catch to Hooper was awesome.
That was beautiful.
That
but
was
guess
nice.
what? Tight end. Not a.
Oh, I know.
The tight ends looked great.
Just want to give that credit.
But
yeah, the 0 catches. That's wild.
Disappointment of
terrible.
That's the worst performance. I mean, they're awful.
It doesn't get worse.
And it's all John Robinson's fault.
And it's funny because like everybody knows like Mike Vrabel. They asked him about it, and he was like, "Who is he supposed to throw it to?"
Yeah, you're right. They asked him, "Hey, is running Derrick Henry that much of a problem for your team?"
It's like, is it sustainable?
And he goes, "What are we supposed to do? Throw the ball? Who the hell are we gonna throw it to?" I mean, like it's funny. And
freaking AJ Brown on Twitter.
Nah, we're not even gonna talk about AJ Brown's a clown, bro.
This is the mental health hour. This is the mental health hour. This is the mental health hour. Remember?
Yes.
He's the ex that won't give up. Like he's
okay, but hold up. No, but you got to think about it. He's the ex that has a way finer girl now.
True. Why are you thinking about us, bro?
He got broken up with. That's the thing.
No, he broke up with us. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
The Titans could have just paid him the money and he would still be here.
He got one offer and was like, "Oh no, screw y'all," and I'm not gonna. He cut off.
It was a disrespectful offer.
It doesn't matter. It was the league average.
Yeah.
It was
He's
the league
not the
average.
AJ Brown. Yeah,
It
AJ
doesn't
Brown is
matter.
not the average.
It's called negotiation for a reason.
Oh my
if you were a
gosh.
team, you're not going to go,
Joseph.
here's as much money as
Joseph.
possible. I understand it was criminally low, but for AJ Brown to just
It was
cut off communication,
disrespectfully low.
he doesn't. He didn't want to be on the Titans regardless, and he needs to get over it.
John Robinson and the Titans had to realize the receiver market was going way up this offseason.
True.
In the division, the
I
Jacks
know.
just paid Christian Kirk $72 million across
I
4
understand.
years, and they barely offered more than
Look,
that.
listen, I understand, but if you're AJ Brown, you need to be a professional. You need to take the offer, say, listen, it's
No.
disrespect. No,
I just
you need
don't
to
understand.
respectfully-
Hold up.
No,
How-
listen, let me talk. Look, you need
You've
to.
been talking the whole time.
You haven't let me get at my point. Look, he needs to. He should have respectfully been like, listen, that's not what I'm worth. You need to give me something better. He literally just said no and then stopped talking to the Tennessee Titans. Stop talking to him. That's why John Robinson was forced to trade him, because he couldn't get any negotiations done.
Okay, so this is my only question. Why are players the only ones that have to take disrespect and it just has to be okay?
Stopping communication is not the answer there. You're a professional in a business. Don't stop
I mean,
communication.
he knows that he's going to go get way more somewhere else.
If somebody offers you 18 mil a year and then, or I don't know, what was it? 18, was it 20 mil? I don't know what it was.
He wanted
was barely
22.
over
He
20.
wanted 22.
right?
He
And
was, like,
then
right at 20.
the Eagles offered him what, 25?
20. I think he was 24. 24,
Dude.
25.
Come on.
I know,
Like-
but the
And
Eagles
he-
didn't
he
offer him
might
20.
win a
He didn't
Super
even
Bowl.
know about that until after he got traded.
Well,
So that's all I'm saying is that he cut off communication. He's the
I
one
would have
that
done the
started
same
the
thing in
drama.
his position.
He's the one that started the drama, and he needs to let it go. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
look.
Listen,
I
let me
understand.
go to my surprise of the week.
I'll let you go to
Let-
your
we gotta
surprise of
move
the
on.
week. I'll
My
let you go to your
surprise-
surprise of the
My
week.
surprise of the week is the Chicago Bears. And it's not just for this week. It's the past couple weeks. Their offense has just gotten so much better in like such a short amount of time. Justin Fields is playing out of his mind right now. It just sucks they don't have a defense to help him out.
Yeah,
That's true.
I'm very impressed by Justin Fields. Like I said, we've talked about them a lot already this episode, but just get him in space, play to his strengths. You're going to do well. They got 2 solid running backs. And just a sec real quick, I'm doing some quick math. The last 3 games, they're averaging 31 points a game.
Look at that. Go Bears.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Congrats to them.
How many of those
Yeah.
games have they won, though? That's the
None.
only problem.
And before,
Exactly. None of them.
No, they won against the Patriots. But before that 3-game stretch, that was the 4 games ago, was that terrible Thursday nighter
Oh,
against Washington, 12-7. Seems like that was a turning point. They're like, okay, we gotta fix something.
we're
here.
done.
Yeah, because it
Yeah.
felt like there was a couple weeks where it was like take the under in the Bears game every week because the
Right.
Bears are not going to score any points.
Yeah, Jeff
But now
Fields
all of a
was
sudden they're
completing, like,
scoring 30 a week. And that's what we talk about the NFL being so weird this year.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a quick turnaround like that.
All right. We're halfway through the season. We kind of know some outcomes, probably. Like, more than likely, the Eagles are probably going to get the 1 seed in the NFC.
Right.
More than likely, the Bills are going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I would think so.
more than likely,
We know some
we're
outcomes.
gonna breathe oxygen.
But we're halfway through the season, and that means we can look at our mid-year awards
Okay.
of the year. We're going to start with Bryson. I want your mid-year awards. MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year.
Wait, so are
We're
we?
doing all of them at once?
Yeah, we're going to get all of yours, all of mine, all of Riley's.
Oh, I feel like we should go one at a
We're
time.
going to go one at a time?
Let's go one at a time.
All right.
Because then we can have the MVP. Because I feel like if we just do that, that's
Yeah.
too much information at one time.
All right. Go with your MVP.
I'll start with MVP because I'm starting with Jalen Hurts. The Eagles are undefeated. Jalen Hurts he's gotten better every year since he's been, well, really since he
Yeah.
left Alabama. He's gotten just a little bit better, especially throwing the football every year. He's still one of the most effective runners of the football at the quarterback position in the NFL, even though he doesn't even have to run the ball as much as he did the last couple of years because he's gotten so much better throwing the ball. The receiving core is great. The defense has been playing really well. Well, I guess the defense doesn't matter that much, but for the MVP conversation, but I love the way
Allowing
that
him
he's
to play better.
Yeah, it's allowing him to play better. So
Good
yeah.
running game around him.
And just the team as a whole being so good, I feel like whenever you have the best team in the league, it's much easier for you to win MVP. So
Yeah.
I think the numbers that he's putting up on the best team in the NFL right now, if you're the quarterback of the best team, I feel like a lot of times that gets you MVP.
Jack?
All right, yeah, I'm gonna go with Josh Allen. Not his best performance last week, so the recency bias isn't here. But I feel like long term, Josh Allen has the best chance to win this award. He's had a lot of good games already this year, and we're talking about winning teams, good offenses. I feel like he's in a position to excel moving forward. I feel like this is still his year, even though Hurts has come on, even though Mahomes has had some great games. Still feel like this is Josh Allen's year, and it's his award to lose, and he won't lose it moving forward as we progress.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Mahomes, and that's just because Mahomes is Mahomes' magic. He's had some ugly interceptions this year, some really bad decisions, but that kind of comes with how he throws and how he plays the game. Him using different arm angles and trying to make these wild throws. He's going to have some of the ugly interceptions this year. But the things that matter with Patrick Mahomes is, one, the Chiefs are winning. That's number one. Two, he leads the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns. When you look at MVP, you want to look at the advanced stats. You want to look at like Tua's the most efficient quarterback in the NFL, or Jalen Hurts is the best with his legs, or whatever. You want to look at the stats that matter for the MVP. It's not those advanced stats. It's the flashy stats. It's the yards. It's the touchdowns. It's the wins, losses. Patrick Mahomes got it all. And the one reason I think that Patrick Mahomes is doing it impressively this year, he lost his number one receiver in Tyreek Hill.
True.
He's playing with guys who have been scrap for the past couple of years. Juju. McCole Hardman's been wide receiver 3 on that team for a little bit. He's doing it with a rookie and Sky Moore. I mean, he still does have Travis Kelce. He still does have Travis Kelce.
Yeah,
and he has zero
run. Point is 33 years old,
and he has zero run game, zero help on the run, in the running game. He's doing it all himself, and the Chiefs are still continuing to win. Patrick Mahomes, just the wizard.
And
he has a great season, though, no question about that. He's on one of my fantasy teams, and I love it.
You liked him
week.
throwing 68 passes against the Titans, didn't you?
Oh, it was awesome. I loved every second of
400 yards, rush for a touchdown.
40, 60-yard touchdown. But I want to contribute to your point real fast. What I'm so impressed with Mahomes is he talked about making it work with other weapons. They've changed how they do their offense completely since the departure of Tyreek Hill. We saw it a little bit last year when defense started to adjusting to the long ball, but they're using a lot of different scheming this year with no running game and these short passes to Justin Watson, Noah Gray, all these scrubs, as all these outcasts on this offense. So he's showing how versatile he is as a quarterback and how he can adapt so well to different kind of scheming and different kind of offenses. Props to Andy Reid too, but yeah, Patrick Mahomes, great.
And the stuff, the magic he makes when he's getting pass rush, it's like it's impressive. I've never seen someone just look so slow, but just be so effective at getting away from defenders. It's crazy. Riley, who's your MVP?
All right, so those three unanimous, the top 3 front runners. I'm gonna go somebody a little bit off, somebody that's a little bit outside looking into the race right now. I'm going with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. I don't love it. I think if I had to pick one to win it, I think it'll be Jalen Hurts. But to throw another name in there, I like Lamar. I think he's got a great chance to win it. He's been playing better now than he had been. And this most recent game against New Orleans, he looked great.
So. Right now, the top 5 candidates for MVP are Mahomes at 1, Hurts at 2, Allen at 3. Then you have Tua at 4 looking in, and you have Geno at 5 looking in. The reason I don't think Tua will win it, Tua's missed games. Tua doesn't have the stats. The reason I don't think Geno will win it is because he's Geno Smith. It's just the name thing.
Yeah.
He could go out and continue this incredible pace for the rest of the season, but because his name is Geno Smith, he's not going to win it.
Maybe he can have his hands on another award.
Maybe. Yeah. Offensive Player of the Year, probably the backup to MVP. This is the more than likely the person that could be in the MVP candidate, but is not going to because he's not a quarterback.
Yeah,
I'll
start. We talked about this being the year of the running backs, so my offensive player of the year is Nick Chubb. Browns have stayed competitive, I think, mainly because of Nick Chubb and what he's been able to do on the ground. One of the top rushers in the NFL this year, yardage-wise, stats-wise. He's been able to get in the end zone plenty of times, but he looks like he's running the best he's run in his career. I just very impressed with what I've seen from Nick Chubb, and the offense has kind of gotten away from the whole Kareem Hunt thing now that Baker Mayfield's gone. Jacoby Brissett doesn't throw the running backs as much, so it's allowed Chubb to just really take hold as the RB1 in Cleveland's offense. I think it'll really help Deshaun Watson too when he takes over as the starting quarterback with how he'll be able to adjust in this offense. It's because of Nick Chubb. He is the centerpiece of that Cleveland.
Yeah,
offense.
second in the league in rushing yards. He's first in touchdowns at 10, first running back to 10 touchdowns in this
Yeah, there you
season.
go.
So Nick Chubb, really good pick. Bryson?
So I'm also going to go with running back, but I got the jersey on. I got to go Derrick Henry. I like the Nick Chubb pick. Derrick Henry and Nick Chubb basically have the exact same stats this far through the season. I think Nick Chubb has like one more touchdown, and then Derrick Henry has like 20 more yards. So I feel like they've both been really good, but I think one reason why I would give it to Derrick Henry is because the Titans are still in the lead of their division and have a chance to have a pretty high seed. Not to say that the Browns are completely out of it, but the Titans have been better than the Browns this season. And when you look at who else has like their receiving core and stuff like that, if it wasn't for Derrick Henry, how many games would the Titans have won so far this season? And that's the way I look at it.
Probably not 5.
Yeah. So I got to go with Derrick Henry, and I think the second half of the season he's had like 850 so far in the first half. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets over like 1,000 more throughout the rest of the season. I could see him going for 1,800 this year.
It's possible.
He's got a good schedule to do it the rest of the way.
Yeah, I am gonna go Tyreek Hill. On pace for 2,100 yards.
That's the record, right?
It'll be way past the record, I
Way
think.
Yeah, is it Rice or Calvin at like 19 something?
It's up there. Cooper Kupp was close last year, but didn't get it. But no, Tyreek Hill is on an incredible pace of 2,100 yards. He's averaging 122 yards a game. Dudes just makes plays. And he's made Tua. The reason I think that Tyreek Hill is going to be the offensive player of the year is because what he's done for Tua Tagovailoa. I mean, the fact that he has made Tua look that much better as a quarterback is incredible. Because you look at last year, Tua had Jalen Waddle. Tua had Mike Gesicki. I mean, Tua had the same offensive line last year. But Tua didn't look like this last year. You add Tyreek Hill and you add Mike McDaniel into that team, and all of a sudden, Tua looks like an MVP candidate. But you know why? It's because Tyreek Hill is his safety valve. He's there every single play.
Yes.
Hey, you need to dump it off? Throw it to Tyreek. Hey, you need to get over the middle real quick? Throw it to Tyreek. Hey, you need someone to just catch the ball? Throw it to Tyreek. He's going to be there. He's going to score. He's going to get the yards. Offensive player of the year.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I think Tyreek's kind of he's probably going to win it at this point, especially at the pace that he's going.
And just look at Tyreek Hill's career, how explosive and awesome he's been. He deserves an award like this in his career at some point.
And how old is he? He's like 30, right?
He's getting up there.
He's like 28, I think. Yeah, he's approaching 30. And by the way, the record was 1946 for Megatron in 2013. So definitely a beatable record from
Tyreek Hill is 28 years old.
Yeah.
So, very
he's
impressive.
Due. I think he's due. I think he's probably the most deserving for the award. But throw another name out there. If he doesn't win MVP, Jalen Hurts, I think is a prime pick for offensive player of the year.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting if they go double quarterback.
I mean, and they've done it plenty of times before. I think if they go like say Josh Allen MVP, it's going to be Jalen.
I feel like if you're going to make the MVP a quarterback award, you can't give a offensive player of the year to a quarterback.
So in the past decade, since 2012, they've given it to a quarterback 4 times.
Offensive player of the year?
Yes, that's what it looks like.
Okay.
AP offensive player of the year. So, about half and half.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Could be interesting, but like I said,
I'll tell you right now, if Hill reaches 1,900 receiving yards, it's a lock.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could see Tyreek Hill sneaking into the MVP candidate if he sprees on 2,000 yards. First receiver in NFL history to hit 2,000 yards in a season.
Oh yeah, no question.
He's not going to be in the MVP talk.
At least in the conversation.
Come on.
Yeah, you got a good point. Who'd have thought that?
Yeah, I know. Defensive player of the year. I don't even think we need to discuss this one because
Micah Parsons.
The odds on this one are ridiculous. I think Micah Parsons, plus? Or
no, he's
minus 300.
Yeah, I think minus 200, minus 300.
The next closest one is like plus 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
Nick
is
Bosa, I think, is the second best. Who
ridiculous.
took Micah in the preseason?
Me.
It was Riley.
It was me.
I know I took Bosa,
I took Garrett.
and then you took Watt,
I
which
took
obviously
Myles
Yeah.
Garrett.
Watt
But
is hurt.
Our
so
picks were pretty good.
Yeah.
No one
I would
said-
say
no
so.
one-
Miles
has been
Garrett
bad.
Miles Garrett got hurt for a couple games. TJ Watt got hurt. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
can't
but
do
Garrett
anything
and
about
Bosa are in the top 5 odds. Watt's the only
Yeah.
one who just
Yeah.
just got hurt. But Micah Parsons is running away with that. Rookie of the year, offensively. Who do you
Okay.
guys got?
You want to start, Bryson?
I got Chris Olave.
Great pick. On
He's-
on pace for what? 1,200 yards.
He's on pace for 1,200 yards and I think 80 receptions. He's already had 43 receptions so far this season. The Saints haven't been great, but I think that he's been basically he's been their best receiver.
And he's doing it with Andy Dalton and or Jameis Winston as his quarterback.
Exactly. And I guess
Or Taysom Hill.
Hill for a
Taysom
couple
Hill as
times.
well.
So it's not like he's playing with just some incredible
You imagine
quarterbacks and
if
stuff like that.
Chris Olave was on the Chiefs or
Oh,
on the
dude.
Bills or
If
on
Chris-
a team with
if
a
Chris
top three
Olave
quarterback.
was on the Chiefs, he would be by far the offensive rookie of the year right now because he would just get the ball so much. But yeah, I love what he's doing for the Saints. I think this race is probably the most intriguing race of all the awards, though, because there's
Yeah.
a lot of good options because there's no really good rookie quarterback for the first time in 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
I
I
feel
mean,
like
you have Kenny Pickett, but he's
He's not good.
not doing
Yeah.
anything. Bailey Zappi had a chance when he came in and he started to lead a comeback for the Patriots against the Bears there. His odds jumped immediately as soon as he came into the game.
Zappy hour lasted all of 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, no quarterback. It makes the way for these other guys. Jack,
Yeah, speaking of other guys, the guy who got a lot of off-season hype because he figured to come in as the starter, and he's done a tremendous job. 678 yards rushing for Dameon Pierce on the season. He is my pick to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Not the sexiest of picks because the Texans may not win 3 games this year. He's on a horrific offense, but he is doing really well, and he's running hard. You've seen some Marshawn Lynch comparisons. You've seen some Saquon comparisons, like a hybrid of those two types of players, the elusiveness of Saquon with the, just the punch you in the mouth kind of rushing style of Lynch. I want to clear the air a little bit on something I said earlier. I didn't mean to dog out Dameon Pierce at all. I don't think he's a one-dimensional type running back. I think he can do a lot with his legs and a lot with the ball in his hands, and maybe, if the Texans get a good quarterback next year, something we could see him in the passing game a little bit.
Stroud.
But I just think Dameon Pierce is a dog, and I don't see the consistency stopping anytime soon, barring injury. So I feel like the stats will continue to pile up, and at the end of the year, might be a no-brainer decision to give him the award. Might be.
right now, with Brees Hall being out,
He
he's
would
one
have been
of.
my pick if he didn't get hurt.
Oh
too.
yeah,
Brees
Brees
Hall
Hall would
Yeah,
be mine
I
too.
feel like we can all
Um,
agree that he was.
But with Brees Hall out, there's only one other running back for Rookie of the Year that I would consider, and that's going to be my pick. And it's going to be Kenneth Walker III. 111 tips on the year. He's got 570 yards and 7 touchdowns. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry. He's also got 48 reception yards, but he has put a spark in that Seattle offense, and he's helping out Geno so much. And the Seahawks haven't had a true running game in a long time. With Rashad Penny always being injured, with
since Lynch
with
was
Chris
out.
Carson,
Yeah,
Chris Carson always being injured. They just haven't had anyone to be back there and be a true running back since Marshawn Lynch.
Yeah.
Basically.
So Kenneth Walker, Rashad Penny goes down, gets injured, out for the season. Who steps up? The rookie. He's got almost 600 yards already and 7 touchdowns, and he's looked really, really good. And I think because Seattle's winning, I think that gives them over the edge over Dameon Pierce.
That's a good point. And, this has to warm Pete Carroll's heart because he's such a running guy. He
Oh, yeah.
doesn't like passing
Yeah.
the ball.
yeah.
So having a guy like Walker, it just has to bring so much joy to him.
Yeah.
Riley?
I love Kenneth Walker. He's my favorite running back of the current ones, but I'm going to go with Dameon Pierce as my pick for Rookie of the Year just because he's been doing it for a little bit longer than Walker has. Walker came in, obviously, in relief of Rashad Penny, went down with an injury. Kenneth Walker, I think if the pace he's on is ridiculous. He's looked incredible, especially as a rookie. He's just settled into that role of that bell cow starting running back. so well for Seattle, so well for Pete Carroll.
Honorable mention Garrett Wilson.
True, for
He's
sure.
had some down weeks with Zach Wilson, but
Yeah, it's 'cause his quarterback is
but
Zach Wilson.
still looking really good. I
Also-
don't think he's as good as Chris Olave right now.
I was going to say another thing about Kenneth Walker that we do have to mention is he is from Tennessee.
Is
If you
he?
didn't know that. Yeah,
didn't
he
know that.
went to Arlington High School about 25 minutes
Wow.
outside of Memphis. So,
Kenneth
How
Walker.
the hell did he end up in Oregon
I
or Michigan
Michigan
State? Sorry,
State.
Up
Yeah.
north.
don't know. I guess that was his best offer coming out of high school.
That's a pretty good offer.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good offer.
Wait.
Um,
No, go ahead.
moving on
Kenneth Walker.
to the other side of the ball for the rookie of the year, defensive rookie of the year. And I really feel like there's only two options here. And they're both defensive backs. I'll start. I'm going Sauce Gardner. Dude, just flashy. He talks the talk. And guess what? He can walk the walk. He can back up his trash talk. When you're Sauce Gardner, you're a rookie, and you're going on and putting on a cheese head after you just got done beating the Packers. You deserve to be flashy like that. Like that is ballsy. That is something you don't really see at a lot of rookies. And he is playing just as well as he is trash talking. Give me Sauce.
Yeah, I feel like this can, as good as Tariq Woolen has been for Seattle, I feel like this could almost be a round table selection here with Sauce Gardner. He is improving the Jets defense significantly, especially on the back end. He and Quinnen Williams have been tremendous for them all year. I love Sauce Gardner's attitude. And like you said, I like what I'm seeing on the field. He was my pick as well.
Yeah, it's Sauce or Tariq Woolen. I think that's the question. I think that if you just look at the stats, maybe you would go with Woolen just because I think he does have like 4 interceptions instead of 2. I think that's the only thing he really has on him. But I feel like Sauce has been more like of a lockdown corner. And the reason why he doesn't maybe have as many interceptions is because they're not even throwing the ball his direction at all. And it's one of those things where he's been locking down the best wide receivers in the NFL on a week-to-week basis.
Has Gardner given up a touchdown yet in the NFL?
Ooh, I'm not sure.
Because he didn't going into the Bills, and if he didn't give one up in the Bills, then
I don't think he did.
Because if he didn't, he still has not given up a touchdown in all of college or NFL yet.
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
He leads the NFL title with Trayvon Diggs with 12 passes defense. Sauce Gardner does. So it's a
I don't think he's given up a touchdown.
And as well as tackles amongst DBs. So 44.
That's incredible.
That's the other thing that he has. He's actually really good as a tackler too.
Yeah. As much as I love Tariq Woolen, I'm sticking with my preseason pick,
Sauce
Gardner, easily. I love him. He's got all the swagger that you could want.
All right, couple more here. Comeback player of the year. This one's interesting because there's a couple options and a couple non-traditional options. I think we talked about it and what your guys' pick.
Yeah.
Geno
Smith. Who would have thought that was going to happen before this season? He has been balling. Like I said, if you put a list of quarterbacks 30 plus of age, I feel like Geno might be playing the best amongst that list. He has been awesome for the Seahawks. As great as Kenneth Walker has been, you can equally give Geno credit for where the Seahawks are right now at 6-3. He's playing like a playoff level quarterback, and I hope we see him in the postseason. Give me Geno for comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I know it's a little bit weird for comeback player of the year when it's like you're just coming back from being on the bench. But when you look at the way that I never thought that Geno really had a chance when he was first coming into the league. He was always on bad teams with bad defenses. There weren't a lot of weapons around him on offense when he was on the Jets back in the day and on the Giants. And then he kind of just became a career backup after that. And I feel like he never got the opportunities that other quarterbacks may have gotten. And I'm really glad that he's finally getting an opportunity after all these years to be the starter and prove that he is just as talented as some of these other guys that they have always said were better than him. And then, I mean, you look, they traded Russell Wilson. He's been better than Russell Wilson this season by far.
It's because he's such a good leader in the locker room. You can tell DK and Lockett love playing for him.
Oh, dude, those post-game press conferences when they're all three up there together are hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they have such a good chemistry. I'm gonna go a different route. I'm gonna go Saquon Barkley.
That's a really good pick.
Coming off a couple bad years, that injury, struggling behind a bad offensive line, and he goes and he's just balling. I mean, he looks like Saquon from Penn State, and he's looked really good. He's running the ball hard. He's running it effective. He still looks shifty. He's able to have a lot of balance. He does a lot of things with the ball in his hand that not a lot of running backs or even players in the NFL can do. So Saquon's my pick for comeback player of the year. I just think he's really improved coming off those injuries.
See, I think you picking Saquon's interesting because I think he's the third best at his position that's eligible for this award.
Really?
Yes. I'm putting Christian McCaffrey over him, and I'm putting Derrick Henry over him.
Oh, I didn't even think of Derrick
Put
Henry.
CMC. I love what CMC's been able to do, but I don't know about putting him over.
I think he's
the
been better
reason.
than
Okay,
Saquon.
the reason I'm not
Got
doing Derrick
traded,
Henry.
It's just messy.
The reason I'm not doing
Yeah.
Derrick Henry is because Derrick Henry is just dominant. He was dominant last year before he went out.
Yeah.
The reason I'm doing Saquon
And
is because Saquon really was not good last year.
I looked
Exactly.
to see if Saquon or if Derrick was eligible to win
I think
comeback
he
player
is
of the
because
award. He is. And
I just
he's
feel like
gone
that's gonna
back.
be a weak win. He played like 8 games last year.
What do you? But
And he
like,
has-
look at him. He looks like
I know,
like
but
prime
we've
Derrick Henry
never
right now.
seen any dip off, and it was like
When was that? When was the last time he had a rushing total under 100?
It was the playoff game.
Bro literally ran for 2,000 yards last full season.
Yeah.
It's
last year
it
wasn't a
just
full
feels a
time.
little weak.
Yeah.
And, and with
Derrick
Christian
Henry.
and with Christian McCaffrey, I mean that's an end pick. It's messy because he got traded. Totally different offense.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from McCaffrey.
Yeah.
He's been great, but yeah, I don't know.
All right,
All
it's not his
To
fault.
put
he
him
got
third
traded.
in that kind
he
of
played
realm
well.
is a little ludicrous to me. To put him third in that realm of running backs, bouncing
I mean,
back.
obviously, looking at him like
Maybe
production wise, yeah, he's third.
I
But
don't-
like,
I don't even
impact
think-
for a team.
I think
and
impact. Yeah. Look at what McCaffrey did the moment he got to the 49ers.
it's been
Through
winning.
one of each type
It's
of
been winning.
got one of each type of touchdown.
but
Yeah,
think about
but-
it.
It's been winning.
Put Saquon on the 49ers. What do you think he's doing?
And Saquon has
don't
the
know.
Giants. Like he's been playing for I know it's not his fault that Christian McCaffrey got traded, right? But Saquon has been carrying the Giants since week 1. And they are a good team.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's
That's an interesting award. We'll see. How
But I
it
also
goes.
It'll
think
be interesting.
the Giants improved around Saquon a lot, and that's part of the reason.
I mean,
he's
that is
having
also
this
true.
breakout
Obviously,
year.
yes.
all right. Our
Yeah.
final mid-year award is Coach of the Year, and there are a couple really, really good candidates for this award. And Jack, I think we're gonna start
Yeah.
because I really like ours, and that is Mr. Pete Carroll for the Seahawks.
Yeah, it feels like Coach of the Year is always you go with the sexy young guy who is,
First
brought this team up.
year.
McVay, all these guys. Kyle Shanahan, I don't know if he's one, but he's been in contention for it. But yeah, Pete Carroll, man, oldest coach in the league, and he has them boys in Seattle balling. I mean, we talked about Geno so much this episode. We talked about Ken Walker. We've talked about Tariq Woolen. Like,
And
it all-
DK's having a really good
yeah,
year.
and Lockett, it all centers back to Pete Carroll, who's been able to coach these guys up in this kind of ragtag group. And they're the best team in the NFC West right now. And I feel like they're kind of a lock for the playoffs based of how consistent they've been. And that's a big credit to Pete Carroll.
And it when the whole Russell Wilson thing went down, it really seemed like it was Russell blaming Pete Carroll.
Mhm.
It seemed like, oh, Russell Wilson was saying, oh, Pete Carroll, he didn't help me. We're not a good relationship. Wouldn't let me be me. Blah blah blah. Whatever. Blah 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 blah.
Thank God he didn't.
Thank God. Yeah, you're right. So
High
Pete
knees,
Carroll-
high knees.
and Pete Carroll, wait, all the stuff going with the Seahawks. Oh, they got Drew Lock or Geno Smith. They're not winning anything. I mean, we all picked against them.
Yeah.
No one thought they were going to do
Yeah.
that.
No,
Not a single person
Gino
thought they
said,
were going
everyone
to do
wrote me
this.
off.
And Pete Carroll
everyone
has
wrote them all off.
just held the locker room together. He's shown that he's that coach that'll win a Super Bowl. And, you put some talent under Pete Carroll. You give him like a roster like the Eagles. I think he takes them all the way.
Yeah, and
Easily.
all these, there's been so many NFL teams we've seen, especially recently, that end up having divas on their team, you know? And it's like there's all this turmoil, even though they might be really good players and they still could win games. There's been a lot of turmoil in the locker room we've seen. But in Seattle, there's just none of that. And
Yeah.
that's why they're winning games. It's kind of like the New York Giants. And I know one of y'all's picking Daboll, so that's another great pick. But yeah, Pete Carroll.
Well,
my coach of the
transition
year.
over to Riley.
I was thinking, all right, so before I say Dayball, I gotta give a couple of honorable mentions. What's his name? The one for the Vikings. Kevin O'Connell.
First year head coach.
Kevin O'Connell.
That's a really
Speaking
good
of first year head
Yeah,
coaches,
right. Yeah.
yeah,
Really a lot.
that the moment you said that, he popped into my mind. He's done really well with the Vikings, and also Mike Vrabel. He's doing it again with this terrible roster. He's putting together a winning season.
How many times do you give Mike Vrabel coach of the year?
Has he won
Yeah,
yet?
yeah,
he won
last year.
Okay.
for
Yeah,
doing
okay.
exactly what he's doing right
There you go.
now. And
And he was
pretty-
in it. He was in it this first year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was. He was.
I mean, he's been a candidate every single year.
Yeah.
He's been a candidate for coach of the
He's
year.
great.
Yeah. Vrabel's been insane, and you can tell that locker room loves to play for him. But I'm like you said,
Minus
I'm
one
going
person.
with minus one. I'm gonna go with Dayball. He's same kind of thing with Pete Carroll and the Seahawks. I mean, nobody was picking the Giants, and nobody
True.
figured they'd be. They're second in their division.
They're third, but it's
They're
been a great
third?
division. So
It's the best division in the NFL.
Oh yeah, Cowboys. I
Cowboys.
forgot about Cowboys. But yeah, that they've been really insane, way above what anybody was expecting for them, and I think that's 100% of credit to their coach and the way they play for him. He's come in there and he's been very, very invigorating to that team.
Not a bad pick.
For
Bryson?
sure. I'm going with Nick Sirianni, not first year head coach, but I think second year head coach this year.
Right.
And obviously, the team got better. They added AJ Brown. The defense has gotten better. So it's not only because of how great of a coach he is, but I still think being able to add somebody like AJ Brown to your locker room and then keeping the team together and not letting stuff like explode, because there is an alternate reality where that went very wrong.
yeah.
Like there's definitely an alternate reality where that went very wrong. So I think
Shout out Howie Roseman for fleecing the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, shout out, dude.
They
I'm
got
telling
Robert
you,
Quinn now,
John
too. They've been
John
making
Robinson
moves.
is the best GM in Eagles history. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, he is.
Hey,
But yeah, I think that Nick Sirianni, I mean, they're undefeated going into week 10. Like,
Yep.
they're probably going to be the 1 seed in the NFC. I think you've got to give it to him.
Sirianni is a perfect example of what the new NFL head coach is becoming. Like a young guy with a ton of energy, and he's fighting on the sideline. You know, it feels like a lot of young players now in this generation are gravitating toward that moxie, that swagger that we see Nick Sirianni have, that we see Sean McVay have, that we see Mike McDaniel have over in Miami.
Yeah.
Who I think
I think Mike Vrabel has it too.
Yeah, just that's what players are gravitating toward. And that's why Frank Reich and that whole Indianapolis area struggled.
Yeah.
Because he's boring.
Yeah.
Like, he might be a good coach, but he is a boring guy, and it didn't work.
No. Before we switch over and look at the playoffs, let's talk about the Indianapolis Colts. Before the season, Jim Irsay has never fired a head coach in the middle of a season. Not once. 25 years as a owner, I believe.
Well, he didn't fire Chuck Pagano?
Nope, not in the middle of a season.
Oh, in the middle.
Sorry. Never fired a head coach in the middle of a season. Always waited to the end, let him ride it out. In 2022, the Colts, who are 3-5-1.
Yep.
Frank Reich, you lose your starting running back. You trade for an old ass Matt Ryan. Then you bench old ass Matt Ryan for a mid Sam Ellinger.
Terrible Sam Ellinger.
Mid.
No, I don't know what to think about Sam Ellinger.
He's
'cause
bad.
He played really well in his first game,
No,
and then
he's
the
bad.
second game
Listen,
he played really
He's
bad.
bad.
And then you go, and after saying that Frank Reich's job is safe a week before, you fire him. What? What is that? Jim Irsay, what the hell? And then you pile on top of it, and you go out and get a person who has zero collegiate coaching experience, not just head coach, any type of coaching.
Hey, he coached at Declan County High School.
Listen,
Okay?
zero NFL coaching experience. He was a consultant for the Colts all year long, and he used to play for your franchise. Only reason you hired him. And Jeff Saturday, for some reason, is now the interim head coach for the Colts the rest of the season.
And when did you ever see an interim head coach of somebody who he was on ESPN?
He was an analyst. He was an ESPN
I was watching Sports Center, and they were like,
awful
usually
pick.
we would go to Jeff Saturday here to talk about the Colts, but it turns out he was just named the interim head coach. So we're not going to Jeff Saturday here. We're going to bring in somebody else.
An awful pick.
Yeah,
They're tanking.
Terrible.
Now they have nobody.
Terrible.
They have nobody on their staff that called plays before.
Yeah, they have two former head coaches on their staff, and Gus Bradley and John Fox. And you know what? And they got zero, like you said, zero offensive player callers on the team.
Yeah.
Who's going to call the plays? Matt Ryan?
Dude, I don't know what they're doing outside of tanking. That's the only justification I can think of. But firing Brady last week, it's like, okay, they're going to tough it out with Reich throughout the season. But then they fire Reich. So, like, why'd you fire the OC if you're going to fire Reich?
Brady wasn't even calling the plays. He was right the whole time.
But
calling the
why
plays.
would you fire your OC? That makes no sense.
It's. I don't know. I don't know what Jim Irsay. I don't know what the Colts are doing, but
Let Matt Ryan call plays. Give Matt Ryan. If you're not going to start Matt Ryan, give him a dang headset.
I told you this.
Yeah.
I told you this. I said, what are the odds that because Jeff Saturday already said Sam Ellinger is my starting quarterback right now. What are the odds in a couple weeks that Matt Ryan is out there being quarterback because he's the only one that knows how to call any kind of play?
Very good.
What are the odds? And the shoulder injury that's keeping him out for the rest of the year magically disappears.
Yeah.
Hey, he's fine now. He went to a specialist. He's fine now.
Dude, the Colts are absolutely poverty. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of NFL rosters who have significantly less talent, but I don't know how many games the Colts are going to win the rest of the year. Like, they are playing the putrid Las Vegas Raiders in that defense, and I can't even think of a player I want to start in daily fantasy FanDuel this week on the Colts because they're that bad.
I'm not picking the Colts the rest of the year. I'm not. I'm not.
Horrible
and listen,
on every level.
Listen,
you were picking the Colts before now?
I mean, some games.
I picked him at the very beginning of the year, and I can't
You
believe
picked him to win the division.
I did.
Horrible.
Thank God Jim Irsay is
Hey,
terrible.
at least Jeff Satt. I know none of us, will have playing experience in the NFL or anything, but like, you could be an analyst on ESPN and then be a head coach in the NFL the next day. So it gives every average Joe hope.
Yeah. Listen, if you
we could be an NFL head coach. Guys.
if you were the center for a legendary quarterback and you got to hand off the ball to a legendary quarterback, guess what? You can be an NFL head coach too.
My thing is, how many times did Peyton Manning have to tell Jim Irsay, "No, I'm good. Thanks." How many times did Marvin Harrison have to say, "No, I'm good"? He's like, "Go, Jeff Saturday. What about you?
What are you doing, Jeff?
Hey, Reggie Wayne. How's it going? No, I'm out, Jim. All right. Well, who's next? Who's next? All right, we got Bob Sanders, and then we got Jeff Saturday.
All right. Colts are poverty. That's all you need to know. All right, real quick, let's take a look at this playoff picture through halfway, and then we're going to get into week 9. Looking at the AFC, the Bills have the 1 seed. They are at 6-3. The Chiefs and the Chargers will play for 2 and 7. The Ravens and the Dolphins will play at 3 and 6, and the Titans would play the Jets for 4 and 5. For the NFC, the Eagles, obviously the 1 seed. The Vikings at the 2 seed will play the 7 seed Niners, the 3 seed Seahawks versus the 6 seed Giants, the 4 seed Bucks, and the 5 seed Cowboys.
I can't believe the Bucks are in the playoffs.
How many of these seeds do you think last? That's all I want to talk about, just real quick. How many of these do you think last?
Eagles and Bills.
Just 2? I think only 2 of them.
And the Chiefs.
No, I feel like
as far as staying where they are right now, Eagles, Bills, and Chiefs.
I'm okay.
And
Let me
Vikings.
put it this way. I don't know about the seeding because anything can happen with like tiebreakers and stuff, but all the division winners will last except Seattle. They'll still make the playoffs, but I think the Niners edge them for the division lead. All the wild cards will last except I just can't get behind the Jets. I feel like the Giants.
No, I can get behind the
behind
Jets.
the Chargers.
I can't get behind the
Jets,
Buccaneers.
Yes, me neither. No, but that division.
Yeah, but the division's really bad. I mean,
I guess.
all they have to do is
I
win that
agree.
division.
Give
I
me
think the Falcons could win the division.
And I'm not 100% on the Ravens right now because I don't
No,
know.
I am.
I don't know how the Bengals are going to play.
yeah,
But I still think the Ravens will make the playoffs regardless.
I don't know if they're going to win that division.
I don't know if they'll win the division, but I think they'll make the playoffs regardless.
I feel like the Chargers will figure it out. Give me the Bengals over the Jets. Swap those. And in the NFC, of course, I said Niners over the Seahawks for the division lead, but Seahawks still make it. I'm going to say the Giants make it too. I feel like those 7 in the NFC will be the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's the AFC that's a little more iffy, especially with the Charger and the wild card. Really, the Chargers and the Jets most likely.
Yep.
Yeah, because I'm big on Miami.
Yeah. So that's
All
the playoff picture. Let's get into week 10, not week 9. Because we just finished week 9.
Week 10, double digits.
And we are officially past the halfway mark. And we are going to start with Thursday Night Football, where the Falcons are taking on the Panthers for hopefully another great game, because last time it was awesome. And hopefully we bring some greatness to prime time. Who do you guys got? It's in Carolina.
I don't care if they played this game on the moon. I would still pick the Falcons.
Baker Mayfield is on track to start.
And
no, it's PJ Walker. They announced it.
They announced it. Oh, because they said Baker was the favorite.
Yeah, on Sunday they did, but they come out yesterday and announced.
Wow. Oh,
I'm fine with it.
And they elevated Sam Darnold out the IR.
All 3 will be healthy.
That's awful. Give me the
All
Falcons.
three will probably end up playing snaps.
Give me the Falcons
Probably.
just because of that.
Yeah, I'll take Atlanta. They won it last time, and I don't think they played the best stuff. Panthers took a lot of fight to even make that game close. Give me the Atlanta to win a pretty comfortable one.
Took a Hail Mary.
Right, yeah.
Legit took a Hail Mary.
Make it a sweep.
We need
for
a sweep
Atlanta.
button.
We do need a sweep button. What the heck?
We're gonna have you.
We
record
needed
one.
a laugh button
Alright,
for the
yeah,
Colts
yeah.
situation.
Oh, I have
I'm
Yeah,
one.
we did.
disappointed.
It's just on a different board.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We're going to start with Monday. It's the Germany game as NFL starts to expand across the
Sunday.
world. It's the Seahawks and the Buccaneers.
Joseph's got his days mixed up.
Yeah.
What?
You said Monday.
Oh, I meant Sunday.
I know.
Sorry, Sunday. It's the Germany game in Allianz Arena. Am I pronouncing that right? I don't care.
I have
In
no
Munich-
idea.
In Munich, Germany.
Lions.
Hey,
Lions.
give me Geno Smith and
Yeah,
the Seattle Seahawks
absolutely.
in this game.
This is good. This is an
Absolutely.
easy pick. The Bucks looked awful last week.
Yeah.
The Seahawks didn't.
Just because
Give me
they
the
had a game-winning
Seahawks.
drive does not mean
Another
they're good.
sweep.
Give me Seattle.
Moving on. Oh, probably game of the week here. Vikings Bills. You got Josh
Yes,
Allen coming
by
off a
far game of
terrible.
the week.
You
I
got the
hope he
Vikings
plays.
who also came off a pretty bad week. But I'm going one factor is Josh Allen is hurting right now, and it's his elbow. I don't know what he's going to be like. Give me the Vikings and money, Lil Kirk. Lil Kirk.
Money, Lil Kirk.
You know, the Vikings
Yes.
have been winning, but it hasn't been in very convincing fashion for me. I feel a slip up coming still, and not that the Bills are a slip up, but as long as Josh Allen plays, the Bills will win. If they don't, I should have the right to reverse my pick.
The fact
If
that
he does.
the fact that Buffalo is a 5.5 point favorite is crazy.
I don't
That
think
is-
so. I don't think that's that crazy.
Crazy.
I'm taking the Bills in this game.
But
I mean,
if it's Case Keenum at the helm, like please let me reverse my.
I
pick.
mean, yeah, obviously, as long as Josh Allen.
All right,
plays.
yeah.
But like,
I'm still going Vikings over Josh Allen.
yeah, I mean, that's not a crazy pick either. I mean, I don't think this is probably going to be the best game of the week in my opinion. I think this is going to come down to the last, to the wire, game-winning field goal,
This is-
game-winning drive type game. But I still think the Bills are the best team in the NFL, and I don't see them losing 2 games in a row. And the Vikings are due to slip up and lose a game at some point.
Riley?
Bill Mafia is going to be there. They're going to be crazy. It's going to be a bad environment for Minnesota.
Good
I'm
teams
going
don't
with
win back to.
Buffalo.
Good teams don't lose back-to-back games.
Exactly.
Like teams
and
as good as the
Buffalo is a
Bills.
Great team.
But guess what? Lil Kirk is him.
All right, so we got a lone wolf for Joseph this
we
week.
We got a lone wolf.
Moving on, we got Lions, Bears, both teams coming off a win. I am going to go Chicago at home.
I'm
Yep,
also
same
going to go
here.
Chicago at home.
No way.
Yeah, no question.
The Lions suck. The Packers are.
Are you
worse.
picking the Lions?
suck.
No, that's a sweep.
Okay.
A bear sweep. Is that the first bear
That
sweep of the
is-
season?
that
That,
is
has to be the
definitely
first
the
bear
first
sweep
bear
of the
sweep.
season.
Man,
That's nuts.
poor Lions.
Keep the sweeps rolling.
Moving on, we got Broncos going to Nashville to take on the Tennessee Titans. And I don't care if Malik Willis is starting this game. Titans are not losing to the Broncos.
Yeah, I will not pick Russell Wilson in a game.
Yeah, I'm picking the Titans. I know I didn't pick the Titans last week. I ended up being right, but I like to pick the Titans whenever they're playing these teams like this. The Broncos have not been good. Give me the Titans.
I see yet another sweep. This time for the Titans.
All right, here we go. Jags, Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium. Jags coming off a comeback. Chiefs coming off a close one. Who you guys got?
Man,
Everybody looked at Jack,
I feel like this is a game.
our
This is a
resident
trap.
Jaguars
This is a game
fan.
that the Chiefs are going to win.
Yes,
I'm going
But
Chiefs.
it is a trap because they have no running game, and the Jags are good against the run, bad against the pass, and Mahomes threw it literally 68 times. He's probably going to be a little bit tired. And if they can find some
He's a wizard.
success
He
on
doesn't
offense
care.
from the Jags, I feel like this game could be close.
Travis Kelsey's going to be pissed off in this game.
Really do. But I'll take the Chiefs.
I gotta take the Chiefs. I was thinking about it, but since if
Yeah.
Jack can't even go Jaguars, then I definitely shouldn't go Jaguars because that's his
Yeah.
team. So I'm riding with the Chiefs still. I mean I've been picking the Chiefs and they've been doing me right. So
This is a sweepy week. That's another sweep.
All right, moving on. Up next, we have the Browns in Miami to take on the Dolphins.
Mm.
I'm gonna go a weird pick here. I'm gonna go. No, actually, I don't know if I want to do that.
no, okay, you don't know. I'll do it. Give
The
me
Browns?
the Cleveland Browns.
Because listen, I'm thinking that Nick Chubb. This is a game that Nick Chubb's gonna just want to control, and they're gonna let him. and because the Dolphins, I don't think they've been great against the run, defensively. And
No, they haven't been great defensively at all. in
and-
any
Yeah.
aspects.
And look, Justin Fields just ran for 150 yards on them. Nick Chubb is going to torch. I just don't know if the Browns defense is going to be held.
That's
be
the
able to
one thing
hold
is
up
Pick the
that
against
Dolphins,
Tyreek.
you coward.
no, give me the Browns. No,
Where are you going?
I'm going the Browns.
You're going
I
Browns?
wanted to. When I looked at it, I'm like, I'm going to go Cleveland.
Damn, because I wanted to go Cleveland too.
It's
I'm
that game.
going to go Dolphins. I'm going to pick against my gut.
Coward. Good.
I'm going to
Glad
pick
you are.
against my gut.
Riley picked the Dolphins, and let's move on.
It's so
What does
funny
that
'cause
mean?
I knew he was good. I should switch my pick to the Browns so he's lone wolf.
no.
What is
no.
that?
He would not lone wolf on principle.
Oh, you're
He
right.
can't stick his neck out.
What? I
can't.
did last week and I got punished for it.
No, you got peer. You said you got peer
I
pressure.
did get peer pressure.
I'm never doing it again.
Yeah, I'm not.
And that's why I just said what
I
I,
got peer
said.
pressured.
So pick the Dolphins.
I would pick Miami if you pick Cleveland. I'm not changing off Miami.
No, I'm picking the Dolphins.
Okay, then
I'm going against my gut. All right, moving on. We got Texans and the Giants. Giants come off a bye. Give me New York.
Yeah,
and
off a
blue.
bye at home against the Texans, who I still think are the worst team in the NFL. Like, I think the Texans, well, you could argue the Colts, but like the Texans and the Colts are like the two teams in the NFL where on any given week, I'm like, they have no chance to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, men in blue, 100%.
that's a sweep.
Up next, we got the Saints and the Steelers. Give me New Orleans.
Yeah, I feel like they.
This is an ugly game.
Yeah.
Man, it's
Very
the home
ugly.
team. Pittsburgh's home.
Listen,
team.
look
Yeah,
at
Pittsburgh's
hold
at
on. Are you
home.
guys on ESPN? Are you guys looking on ESPN right now?
Uh-huh.
Look at the stat leaders for this game. The stat leaders for the Saints, or for either team: the quarterback Andy Dalton, the running back Alvin Kamara, the wide receiver Chris Olave. Not a single Steeler in that. Not a single Steeler.
I'm not.
Give me the
Um,
Saints.
I've really been ill impressed with the
Dude,
Saints
Kenny
defense.
Pickett has thrown 2 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Okay, yeah, now give me the
He's
Saints.
Kenny Pickett.
Pickett for a
Pick
reason.
it for a reason.
Alontae Taylor to
Picks.
get a pick.
That's
That's your lock of the week.
No.
I'm just gonna go the better squad. I want to go New Orleans.
Yep.
Was that a sweep?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sweep.
All right.
All right, moving on. We got Colts Raiders. I already said I was never picking the Colts again. Give me the Raiders.
Raiders.
Yeah, this is a very sweepy week and it scares me.
I'm going with Jeff Sound. No. Absolutely
Wait,
not.
Riley would
wait,
never.
wait,
Riley
nah,
would
Maybe
never.
the Colts should have hired John. Wait, no.
Oh, whoa,
Hey,
whoa.
have you heard the groomers for college? He's back in the college groomers for a head coaching job around
Yo,
around
don't
the
say
around
groomers.
what
Don't
groomers?
Don't say groomers.
That's what they're called. They're groomers.
Don't say groomers.
That is funny. I mean, it makes sense. It's catchy.
It's literally what they're called. Look on Twitter and look up groomers.
You
It's
know-
what they're called.
No, don't. If you're watching this video, do not do that.
Wait,
You
is
have
that
to
actually a
spell-
thing?
You have to. Oh my god, y'all are
You
stupid.
know what? Groom.
Like
Spell it.
GRU.
Spell it
GRS.
GRU. Oh my god, you're an idiot, Riley.
I'm just saying.
Oh my
why would-
god.
Why would looking
What,
up
you're-
GROO and ERS be bad?
All right, yeah, okay, all right, hold on. We got to
Look,
move
We'll
on.
talk about this later,
That's
Jack.
a sweep for Las Vegas.
Look.
Next up.
I guess I'm private searching
Hey,
groomers with two O's.
we'll talk about it when you're older, okay?
Is it not like barbers and like
No,
you know,
okay,
like-
we'll talk about it when
Yeah,
you're older,
yeah,
Jack.
yeah.
You need to move on.
Y'all are just immature.
Yeah,
That's it.
I think
That's
about
it.
his dog
Not
getting a
immature.
haircut.
Y'all are just
That's not
immature.
I'm doing it right
immaturity.
now.
Moving
That's
on.
not immature.
Moving on. We got Cowboys and the Packers. I've given up on the Packers. Give me the Cowboys.
Easy game. Give me the Dallas Cowboys.
That's
Literally
another,
nothing.
That's another sweep. I don't like this.
You going? Are you going
Dallas.
with Dallas?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Okay,
8,
here we go,
By
9.
the
here we
way, I
go.
looked up groomers with two O's, and it just came up. Like
Y'all are
pet
just
grooming
immature.
salons.
Y'all
Oh
are
my
immature.
gosh. Okay, whatever.
All right.
I'm sorry that we get on Twitter.
Moving on. Moving on. We got Cardinals and the Rams for the worst game of the week.
Yeah, that's bad.
I'm gonna go Cardinals.
I'm gonna go Rams.
Yeah, I don't feel like Sean McVay's gonna lose it. He always has Cliff's number, no matter what. Give me Rams.
Kyler's got to stop playing bad at some point. He hasn't won since Modern Warfare 2 came out, but this is the week.
You're
'Cause he's
ballsy.
bad.
You're ballsy for
I am.
picking him after Modern Warfare 2.
I am.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rams.
And this is the last week before. This is the last weekend before Warzone comes out, and all the other features.
yeah.
So I feel like I feel
he's
like
grinding to get his guns gold right now. He's not.
I won't pick
studying
him next
film.
week. I'm
no,
not
he is
picking
studying
Kyler
film
next week.
because he has the homework clause.
No,
Remember?
they took it
No,
out.
they took it
Oh, they
out.
took it out.
They
Yeah.
took it out. He's
No.
playing. He's
Because
playing.
he said
He's
no.
playing Modern Warfare 2 as we
Yeah.
speak.
All right.
Dang.
Next up, we got Sunday Night Football, Chargers, Niners. Give me the Niners.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
believe in the Chargers.
Coming off a bye. Yeah.
Give me the Chargers.
I don't believe
in
in
this
them.
game.
Yeah,
Don't believe in them.
That's a bad pick,
Lone
buddy.
Wolf Chargers. Give it to me
San
right now.
Francisco is a 7-point favorite for a reason.
Cold take, Bryson. Cold take.
All right.
Riley going
San
Niners.
Fran.
Monday Night Football, Commanders, Eagles. Give me the Eagles.
Is Heineke in the streak?
I hope so.
Dude, that would
It
be
could happen.
kind of
That'd be
wild.
fun.
I would love to. I would be so happy if I'm wrong, but give me the Eagles.
The
I
Eagles
can't
kind
pick
of struggled
against
against Houston.
I
On
can't-
prime time.
I can't pick against them.
But
right
they get an extremely long week, Thursday to Monday. I don't see Philly
Who,
losing this game.
if one of us calls this loss, the first Eagles loss of the season,
Is it gonna hit Bryson? Is it
Dude,
gonna happen?
I was really thinking about it. I was the one that called the first Lions win last season.
Philly's an 11-point favorite.
Nah, I can't do it. Not the Commanders. If it wasn't the Commanders, because
That's the
because
thing. Yeah,
they're gonna have to lose a game eventually, right?
Okay.
We all know that they're not gonna go undefeated, but their next 3 games are the Commanders, the Colts, and the Packers,
I feel like if any of
and
those
then they play
teams,
the Titans.
I feel like if any of those teams takes them out, it might be the Packers. Just
No, I feel
because
like it's
the
going to be
Titans-
Tennessee.
The Titans have the best chance.
gonna be
against
Tennessee.
Philadelphia.
I mean,
easily.
those next 3 games. I
Oh, okay.
was going those
revenge
next 3.
games have been terrible this season.
yeah,
but it's not in. If it was in Nashville, I don't know. We'll talk
it
about
would be
that later.
so crazy.
Titans
yeah.
are
if
the
it's
great
not.
We'll
teams.
talk. We'll
great.
talk about that in a few weeks.
But I'm going Eagles. What are y'all going?
Yeah.
Eagles, yeah.
Eagles.
That's a sweep.
And the bye week teams for this week: Bengals, Patriots, Jets, and the Ravens. With that, let's move on to our locks of the week.
You want me to start?
Yeah. Go
My
ahead.
first lock of the week. Give me the Falcons. Wow, the Falcons.
the Vikings.
No, the Falcons -3.
Minus
Okay.
3?
Falcons -3.
I think the line's at 1.5. I thought the line was at 1.
No, it's at -3 over the Panthers.
Oh, I must have been looking at a.
Okay, well, yeah, that's what I have it at. I'll take them at -3 too, though.
Just
Give
take 'em
me,
regardless.
give me the over in Vikings Bills 45.5. I'll take the over.
5.5 and Vikings Bills.
Yeah, because there's no way that both of those teams don't at least score 3 touchdowns. And then
Buffalo's defense is good.
3 touchdowns and a field goal, both like 27-24 type game. I see it.
That's
I'm
fair.
I'm
That's
gonna take
fair.
the over. And then for my last one, give me Justin Fields. I want to say Justin Fields anytime touchdown. But I don't know what his over on the rushing prop is, but I'll say Justin Fields anytime rushing touchdown. Easy.
Okay. I'm going to go the Titans. Y'all are going to like this one. I'm going to go them to cover Broncos according to Caesars. They're only 3-point favorites right now. Hammer that all day in Nashville. I don't even care if Malik Willis is starting. They're winning by more than a field goal. And then what?
No, go ahead.
And then my second lock is the under in the Raiders Colts game. It's set at 42.5 right now. That means at least
yeah.
5 touchdowns have to be scored in that game. Those two offenses, the way they're playing, I just don't see it
That's a
happening.
great pick.
And then the Bears rushing attack. I did this with New England a couple weeks ago. I'm going to say among Fields, Montgomery, Herbert, they rush for over 200 yards as a team.
I like it. All right, I'll go. I'm gonna take the Commanders at +11. I think they're gonna.
I thought I liked that when you said it.
I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna play the Eagles close. I think Taylor Heineke's gonna throw some weird magic out there and make the Eagles sweat a little bit. And keep this game close. So give me Commanders +11. I am gonna take the massive under in Cardinals Rams at 43.5. I just don't trust the Rams offense at all. And I don't know if the Cardinals are going to score more than 24 points. I don't know what's the most they've scored this year.
probably a Thursday night game.
Yeah.
34 or 42.
Against the Chiefs, 44.
Yeah.
No, they scored against the Saints on Thursday night. Chiefs scored 40.
Yeah, they only scored 21. They lost that
I was
game.
looking at that.
It was what,
backwards.
42. The next closest is 26.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, give me the
They're not
under.
replicating that. Yeah.
Give me the under in that game. And then for a
Prop.
player prop, give me the Bucks. The Bucks defense has been really good passing yards. But I think DK is playing really well. Give me DK Metcalf over 64.5 receiving yards.
That's a good pick.
64 and a half. All right, yeah. So for my locks, hold on, let me finish typing this in. All right, there we go. For my locks, Mike Evans, I'm gonna take him to get the over on his receiving yard total,
Good.
68 and a half.
Because Seahawks have not been good
Yeah.
defending the pass.
Not been great. I do like we said, Tariq Woolen. Even their cornerback too, Kobe Bryant. He's been really good. He has like 4 forced fumbles, I think, leading the league or something like that. Their corners have been good, but just in general, their defense, they haven't been keeping up with it. Justin Fields, I'm going to take his over on his scrimmage yards, 239.5 yards. I think he'll cover that easily between his running game and his passing game against Detroit. I think he's got that. And then I'm going to have Seattle to cover 10 points. They're 10-point underdogs.
Good pick. And for one more, just throwing out there, the under on anything related to the Titans wide receivers.
That's a great point.
The under for anything
Oh.
on Tennessee wide receivers and passing, because it will never, ever, ever hit ever again. Guys, this has been the week 9 into week 10 episode of Cover 4. Halfway point throughout the season. We got our MVP picks, our offensive player, defensive player, rookies, coaches, comeback players of the year. We got what the playoff picture looks like, and I think we're starting to see how the season's shaping. But like I said at the beginning, this season's weird. Everything's kind of gone the opposite, or most things have gone the opposite of how we thought. And I'm not sure what's in store for the second half of the season.
Joseph, you're my MVP.
Thank you. Y'all are my MVP.
MVP. MVP. MVP.
MVP.
Guys, another edition of the Cover 4 podcast brought to you by WTK's Rock Solid Sports. Don't forget to like and share to get all past and future episodes of Cover 4. For all your NFL news, takes, and more, including this guy's awful takes. For
There's no
Bryson,
bad
Jack,
takes.
Riley, I'm Joseph. We'll see y'all next week on the next edition of Cover 4.